Hudson County View, live and uncut, and I'm your host, the guy that's got the words that are rugged and built like Schwarzenegger, like the 2020 Terminator, John Arhitis. And today we have a special guest in our studio. We have Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop, and so we have a lot to talk about there. Obviously, there's no shortage of conversations in Jersey City, so certainly we have a number of things to go through on that end. We're also going to be talking about police shooting in Kearny, specifically what happened there. Is an officer shot at a moving vehicle that was believed to be stolen, according to the Hudson County Prosecutor's office. So we obviously want to make sure you're informed about what's going on over there. And in another police-related matter, we saw that early Monday morning there was a hit and run where a bicyclist was badly injured over in Hoboken, and an arrest has been made. And it turns out that the arrestee was actually a U.S. Division of Homeland Security agent. So obviously that's a little unusual. So we want to make sure that you're up to speed on that. But before we really get to any of those other stories and we do our weekend recap, we first are going to sit down with Mayor Fulop. After we hear a word from our sponsors, we'll be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and launch inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Profits, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunley Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Arhitis, and as promised, here is Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop. Mayor, thank you for joining us at our new setup. And I think this is really opportune timing. You know, one thing that I think we've had some luck with is every time we sit down, there seems to be something big happening. Not that there's ever a shortage of events in Jersey City, but the one that really caught my attention, and not much surprises me these days, but when I saw Councilman Youssef Saleh, the Ward D representative, of course, posting that this recent spat of gun violence was an ongoing war between rival gangs in Jersey City Heights and Hoboken. You know, I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. I mean, frankly, I certainly didn't. So he said that the JCPD is working in conjunction with the Hoboken Police Department. True. Could you tell us anything more, provide any further color? Like, is there a task force? Is there a gang unit? I mean, what exactly are they doing about this issue?
Well, so the shooting incidents are related. We believe that it's related to some people that were living in Hoboken housing projects, and that some of them moved to the Jersey City Heights. And there was a back and forth similar to what you see in other parts of the city or other cities across the country when people resort to gun violence. We do believe that we have one of the individuals in custody, and the JCPD is actively working on it. I think we have a lot of good information, and you know, violence and gun violence is unacceptable in any part of the city. Our goal is to drive it down to zero, and it's always concerning when it happens, but I do feel that we have a good lead on kind of where this is going and how to get ahead of it.
Now, one that happened around between 8 and 9 o'clock last night, there was actually another shots fired incident in Ward Ave. So do you have any information on that?
Nothing I could share right now.
Okay. Well, look, so obviously that's not a particular...
But I'll get back to you on that later today. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But look, it's never a great day when there's multiple shootings in the city. So just anything else you could broadly tell us, again, whether it be a task force, anything specifically, or any unit, I should say, assigned to violent crime, anything like that, when they're dealing with these kind of violent incidents?
We have our ceasefire unit, we have active investigations and good intel, we have our street crimes unit, and what we see is that these sort of situations are generally speaking homegrown sort of situations where people have disputes from one block to another, often not even knowing why there's a historical dispute. They talk about it on Facebook, they talk it on social media, we track it through that process often. And our closeout rate with regards to arrests is higher than most cities across the country. So I think the JCPD is doing a great job on this. And again, it goes through cycles where you see quietness for long periods of time, and then you'll see a spike where it's back and forth related to two rival gangs, so to speak. I mean, we're reluctant to call it that because it's more like kind of these people that grew up on certain corners having disputes or beef with somebody who grew up on a different corner. So that's kind of where we are on that. We're working through it. And generally speaking, I feel like the ceasefire unit does a good job in closing those out.
All right, so obviously, we saw during the budget season where there was a strong call from some groups to defund the police.
Yep.
Obviously, you and I spoke about that at length. And I imagine that your stance hasn't changed, right? No plans to defund the JCPD?
No, but look, I'm reluctant to use shootings that happened yesterday or tomorrow as just an example to tie into the defund the police situation. I mean, the defund the police conversation is obviously related to a call to divert dollars towards social services. I don't think that it needs to be diverted from the police department. We have a complicated city, and I think that the police department is doing a great job. I think we could continue to invest in social services as we've been doing over the last couple of years without taking it away from law enforcement and public safety.
So be that as it may, you've been clear, you've been steadfast, but every council meeting we hear, anywhere from a couple dozen to a couple hundred people. And at the last one, they talked about two things: bringing the Quality of Life Coalition Task Force under Jake Hudson, under Public Safety, which obviously happened, as well as the de-escalation contract with Jack Cambria, of course, a retired lieutenant who's done, I think, thousands of hostage negotiations during his time with the NYPD. So why did you think those were both beneficial for the whole city, despite, this whole outcry?
Why do you think
this was a beneficial initiatives or matters to put on the city council agenda?
Let me start with the Jake Hudson function. And Jake has done an amazing job on the Quality of Life Task Force. Putting that under public safety and having more access to information to respond with calls, not using direct police and law enforcement, is consistent with the direction of the conversation nationally. And I think that is the right move long term. With regards to the de-escalation training, we hire the best that do this. And Jack Cambria has had a long career in the NYPD dealing with negotiation for some period of time. We've had dozens upon dozens of police officers from the JCPD go through his training already, and the feedback has been terrific, where they say that it's very, very helpful. And we want to continue to provide the resources that are necessary for our police department to do an effective job. I would also highlight that lots of the things that we propose, like, for example, I know the conversation around Tomahawk, and some of the same critics came out and spoke, we don't want Tomahawk doing de-escalation training. The minute we didn't do it and secure them, Bergen County secured them for the entire county there, and it's been highly recognized by CBS and NBC on spotting them on some of their nightly news with regards to being effective de-escalation training. And it's unfortunate that sometimes that the most vocal people take over a conversation unfairly, and it's sometimes counterproductive to the broader public on that sort of front. So
let me stop you real quick. We're going to just get a word from our sponsor, then we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
All right.
The Jersey City Medical Center. You know it for its award-winning life-saving ambulance service. It's also your health hub, with health and wellness locations staffed with certified professionals all through Hudson County. The Jersey City Medical Center, here to help you with your healthy, here when you need us the most. The Jersey City Medical Center. Visit us on the net to learn more. Jersey City Medical Center, Robert Wood Johnson, Barnabas Health Facility. Let's be healthy together.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just one path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport. Live like you want.
Hudson County View live on Uncut. John Arhide is back with Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop. So, Mayor, you were just saying that Tomahawk, once people said that it wasn't the direction they wanted to move in, Bergen County picked them up. And you were also noting that, there's a lot of vocal critics that didn't want Jack Cambria, they didn't want Tomahawk, but then somebody else ends up picking them up because they're experts in their field and, have a strong track record. That's essentially what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, look, let me go a step further. That often the most vocal people saying defund the police or don't do the de-escalation training aren't the people living in the parts of the city that see crime and gun violence most frequently. And that disconnect isn't necessarily represented through the media. And so, my responsibility is to do what's best for the entire city from my standpoint. That's why I'm elected, to make decisions. And that's what I try to do. And so when the conversation went towards not doing de-escalation training or defunding, and if I fundamentally disagree based on the information that we have there, I do my best to articulate why and be clear on that. But ultimately, it's to also make a decision and stand by that. And that's where we are.
Now, on de-escalation, you may have noticed that Councilman at Large Rolando Lavarro, a rumored mayoral candidate, of course, nobody declared. He said this reeks of old school Hudson County politics, since there was only one bid.
Look, I mean, for 7 years, Rolando was the council president and voted 99.9% with our administration, more than any other council person. Then he decides maybe he wants to go in a different direction politically because of his ambition, and then he criticizes it. I think it's kind of disingenuous, and I think the public sees through it. So I'm not going to go back and forth with him on that. It is what it is,
All right, as you wish. So talking about 2021, so you came out early, you have your annual birthday party, you named the majority of your ticket. I looked at your most recent elect filings. It looks like between yourself and the team Fulop, you're at just over 1.2 million. Certainly not a bad haul.
We'll have a good quarter this quarter. I think we're going to end the quarter at closer to 1.4.
Okay, and you have an event tonight, then you have another event on Tuesday, so certainly you're looking ahead to next year. Now, you may know a couple weeks ago, Councilman Solomon was on. He told me he's not running. Councilman Lavarro hasn't declared. 1 week ago, there was a Jersey Journal story that said Robin Mendez Jr. was considering a run, but again, there's no declared candidates. But when you saw that story, what was your reaction?
I mean, look, it's no different than anybody else. I view it as somebody's going to run, and I'm going to look to defend the record that we have. And I'm pretty comfortable when it comes to public safety, when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to policing, when it comes to being proactive on progressive policies. I think our record will stand up to anybody in the state of New Jersey and any city our size or larger in the country. And I'm comfortable in saying that, and I look forward to having that dialogue. I'm very, very proud of our record, and I think we have a lot to highlight, and it doesn't matter who runs, but I think we'll have a good chance.
So with that said, I mean, a lot of people that enjoy this kind of stuff are saying that, 2021's a foregone conclusion, you'll win your third term, and then they're already looking to 2022. You saw there was a published blog post a couple weeks ago.
I didn't know that, but go ahead, all right.
All right, there was a published blog post, take my word for it, based out of Hoboken, and they're claiming that it's a foregone conclusion. If things go well next year, you'll be running for Congress in 2022, the 8th Congressional District. What's going on with that?
I can tell you that that's not in the cards for me. I have a 20-month son, and I have a daughter on the way next week or the following week. And it is my favorite time of the day that I get to spend with my son, and there is zero chance that I would go to the House of Representatives and spend half the week away from my wife and children. I mean, that's not in the cards for me now. And so me running in 2022 is not going to happen.
All right, so would you say, as of now, and of course, we can't
Look,
predict
things can
life.
change. Things can change, right? Like, I'm not going to say that, definitively, but 2022 is definitely, that I could tell you definitively, I'm not running for the House of Representatives.
Okay, so you're running at 21 and you're expecting to serve the full 4 years
Yeah.
as of today.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my plan. I mean, look, I have a lot of things that we started that I want to finish. We're to SciTech City, some great stuff in Journal Square that we started, Bayfront that we started. We have some firehouses. We have library projects. We have some affordable housing projects. A lot of things that are, big picture projects and complicated projects that I've been working on for years that I want to see through to completion, that they're transformative projects. And I think most cities would hope to have 1 or 2 transformative projects. We have like 5 or 6 here that we've started, and I want to see those things through. So it's not like I'm looking to leave tomorrow. I want to see these things through, and that's really why I'm asking for another term next year.
So every time that there's a new election, everyone seems to say Mayor Fulop's going to run for Congress, Senate, Governor, but you say it's all reckless
very flattering.
speculation.
Yeah, it's a lot of speculation, and it's flattering. But I really do love this job, and I really do feel like we're making a difference, and I do feel like we're changing the city for the better. I think our election in 2017 spoke to that. It's nice to have an affirmation from the public on that front, and I'm going to ask in 2021 for the ability to finish what we started and complete the job. We restructured the budget, we restructured the police department, restructured a lot of departments, and I feel like the city's going in a good direction, and I think most people would acknowledge that.
Very good. One more commercial break. We'll be right back.
All right.
Pen and Pencil Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces that address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at penandpencilproperties.com. Pen and Pencil Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Rama Jewelers, located in the Lyndhurst Shopping Center at 413 Valley Brook Avenue, Lyndhurst. Come for all your jeweler needs at Rama Jewelers, where you will find a fine selection of necklaces, earrings, rings, and bracelets. Choose from one of our complete sets, our many signature items, or find the perfect engagement ring. Come on down. That's Rama Jewelers at 413 Valley Brook Ave, Lyndhurst. Call 201-939-5784 or visit us online today.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Arhitis, and we're back with Mayor Stephen Fulop. Thank you for giving us a little extra time, Mayor.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So now, obviously, there's a lot of talk about public safety, but I was actually speaking to Patrick Ambrosi, you obviously well aware, is running for Ward D Council.
Yeah.
And he said one of his things that he's talking about, and we've talked about this before too, of course, but inclusionary zoning. He said the administration typically likes to approve 100 to 150 AMI, and he says it should really be, in his opinion, and if he's elected to the council, he would push to 30 to 50% AMI. So what do you think about those comments?
I think I would need to understand a little bit more about what percentage of the project would be 30 to 50 versus workforce housing. I think there's gaps in the city, certainly on the low income side, but also on the workforce housing side. And I think you need to have a plan that includes for all of that. So I know the council president is working on that. I do suspect that something will be introduced in the very near term. And per her feedback, she wants to also include more units for lower income people. So I suspect that it's going to be something more consistent with what Patrick recommended.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting tidbit right there. Now, not to bring it back, but I just realized we haven't talked about the Civilian Complaint Review Board yet. And, the activists' complaint on that was that they felt like with Councilwoman Ridley's ordinance, the mayor was too heavily involved and he shouldn't really have much of a hand in the CCRB at all. So what's your take on their criticism on this one?
I mean, look, do I think that I should be involved or not involved? Obviously, I always prefer to have some input on it. I think that that's reasonable. But if the council was to decide that the mayor shouldn't have a role in it, I respect that as well. I do think that Councilwoman Ridley has been working closely with Angela McKnight, Assemblywoman McKnight, and the mayor of Newark with regards to best practices. And I do think that the structure that she's proposing with regards to council people having input on that is something that has worked for other boards within the city very, very well, and is probably the right model for a CCRB that is going to be effective.
All right, so let's go back to Ward D for a second. Obviously, we live there. Certainly, everyone is aware. You were vocal in seeing Councilman Saleh appointed, obviously before he was the councilman. And, you've endorsed him for this November 3rd special election. You see it a lot of Team Fulop sides and such. And, but there really is no team. I mean, he's the only one on the ballot this time, right?
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
But with that, why did you feel like in these few months he has shown that he has the the decorum, the skills, and whatever else to do the job effectively?
Well, look, I think that Youssef is a special talent when it comes to public service. He has been involved in government for some time. I would probably argue that longer than anybody else, to be honest with you, that's running for the seat. And you have some people that have been involved for a long time. He worked for the law department for some time, so I know he understands the law and municipal government structurally. And I think he's very bright, so he could understand arguments and dissect them in a meaningful way. And I think he has some projects that he's very passionate about and that he's pushing hard to move forward. And those are all things that are attributes that were consistent with the former councilman. And I think that Youssef is best equipped to be able to move some of those initiatives forward. I know that people always like to throw around independent or somebody not in line with the mayor or this person.
Right, a lot of people, the critics have said that he hasn't voted no a single time.
Well, that's not true, actually. That's not true. But put that aside.
Yeah.
The responsibility of a council person is to work in conjunction with an administration together as an effective checks and balances to move an agenda forward. If somebody is just saying no for the sake of saying no to score political points, they've achieved nothing for their constituents. Nothing. And so you have some people on the council that will take that position for political reasons, just consistently say no, 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 no. And if you take a step back, you say, what have you accomplished? Nothing. So you want somebody that is able to work with an administration, but at the same time is able to analyze a project, analyze a conversation, dissect it, and move it maybe in a different direction as needed, but in a way that works together with everybody. And Youssef has those skills. I don't think anybody else has those skills that's running up there. So I'm excited for him. I hope he's reelected. I hope people consider supporting him. And I think that Youssef will be around for a long time, working on behalf in some capacity of the people of Jersey City.
All right, very good, Mayor. And we'll close on this. So on that point, like I said, in February you unveiled the majority of your ticket. I was just wondering if you were going to roll out any other endorsements. There was one, of council candidates. I mean, there was one report that Amy DeGees, the HCDO chair, might be on the team.
Well, I mean, Amy and I haven't had that conversation yet, but I think Amy's great. She and I have a very, very good relationship. She's terrific. And look, I think there's a lot of time still to kind of figure out what the council slate will look like. We want the council slate to reflect Jersey City, of course, and there's a lot of moving parts in order to make sure that you have the diversity on the ticket that represents a very diverse city. And so once the Ward D election is finished, we're going to take a step back and then kind of think a little bit more about how we're going to approach 2021 to make sure that we put the best slate possible to really galvanize and excite the public so we could finish what we started.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. We're going to take one more break, and we'll see you in a few.
Most women who give birth recover without problems, but any woman can have complications after the birth of a baby. Learn the post-birth warning signs, such as fever, headache, chest pain, shortness of breath, increased bleeding, or thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else. Knowing these can save your life or the life of someone that you love. Trust your instincts. If you feel something is wrong, call and get evaluated by your healthcare provider. If your symptoms get worse or you do not hear back from your physician, call 911 or go to the nearest emergency room.
RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Hudson County View, live and uncut, John Arhitis. And so first, we had a couple other things. Obviously, the mayor stayed a little longer, so we thank him for that. But we do want to talk about some other things going on here in Hudson County. So first of all, I wanted to tell you about this Hoboken hit and run that took place early Monday morning. And the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office has made an arrest. And he is a Jersey City resident, 32 years old, and he is actually an agent of the U.S. Division of Homeland Security. So that's obviously something that you don't see every day. Obviously, that story is on HudsonCountyView.com. And with that, we also wanted to point out just a little bit of the narrative. You know, they said that there was a incident around Garden Street and that the agent did not stop. He continued driving. After actually stopping for a short time, he then got back in the vehicle and continued driving. So, you know, there's obviously a slew of charges surrounding that. And, you know, again, running a little short, so I'm just going to give you the bare bones. But we're going to also talk about another incident being investigated by the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office, and they've already consulted with the New Jersey Attorney General because a Kearny police officer fired his service weapon. So they were on Passaic Avenue. There's a published report that says that was near the Applebee's, and during this time, an officer spotted a car that was reported stolen. So it was reported stolen, and then he shot at the vehicle as it was driving towards him, according, again, to the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office. And the vehicle ended up driving off and was left somewhere in Newark. The suspect is still at large, and there is been no arrests, obviously, and they're looking for the public's help to try to locate this individual. Of course, this is, again, a police-involved shooting, as it is commonly referred to among law enforcement, and this is going to be something that is going to have an independent investigation by the HCPO in conjunction with the Attorney General's office, if necessary. So on top of that, I think we really hit all the points we wanted here with the mayor. I mean, obviously, we talked about this recent bout of gang violence in the Heights. We had a long discussion about what's going on with the Ward D special election. And, you know, if you haven't seen it, we had a chance to talk to candidate Patrick Ambrosi just the other day at a fundraiser at the Cliff. So we would hope you have time to check that out if you haven't already. Yesterday was an extremely busy day, you know, 8 stories up there. And, you know, there was actually been a lot more crime this week than our typical political and governmental news. But nevertheless, I think there's a lot of interesting content as we have each and every week, if I could humbly say so. So with that, I think we're going to call it a week. We appreciate you all for tuning in. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.